Hello, I'm Joel Blackford with Beth Hassett Sabbath Fellowship. We're virtual. You can call. Hey, I have wonderful people to call every now and then. They actually pray for me too. It's really dear and sweet. I love that kind of stuff. It would be fun to start up again, but we've been virtual for 2 years, and sometimes I like this. But if you want to call 612-315-6778, you can. We do the philosophy of the eschatology, what you need to know, your reality, our existence. We try not to be disparate. I will cite prophetic people like David Wilkerson. People were really thrilled when I cited that recently. And we're Beth Hesed Sabbath Fellowship. So I like to cite Matthew 24. I really, really love that. The problem is there's two ideas that are in Luke 21 that we need to cite. Why don't I cite Luke 21 often? Well, because technically there's some preterist language in there. It makes it sound like it's already occurred, but yet it hasn't. So I'll try to show you that. The main thing is I want you to be able to be aware of the fear of heavens melting that you get from Luke 21 that you don't really get in Matthew 24. So it will help you to see the signs better. So we're going to try to go through this. And so what's the point? Why haven't I recorded for a while? Well, I was trying to get some ideas tied together, and Ben Davidson helped me out. His recent video this morning on May 10th was about the fall of the magnetic field. So we'll be discussing that in terms of what happens when the magnetosphere thins and it fails or falls. What happens to our Earth? Well, it's already happened in some of the planets nearby us. So this is a cosmic event, okay? Pluto and Jupiter and Saturn, they're losing basically their magnetosphere, you could call it, if they actually, well, they have something like that, but they're losing their atmosphere. Okay, so we'll go with that. So the main thing is, as it thins, you'll notice more health risks. So, the cosmic rays on the left-hand side here are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, by the time you get up to a geomagnetic storm, up to a 9 or an X10 type of a flare, you're going to have some health risks. So this is from the Lithuanian University of Health Services, and they came out just recently and said, it's a long article, it's scientific, more magnetosphere fluctuations, more heart attacks. So what I want you to be aware of is you might lose some friends and family as the magnetosphere thins and has anomalies, and then we get more solar flares, which are happening right now. Been very busy. Now, this is a chart that's very interesting. I put Noah's flood in the wrong spot. I wanted it to be, 1,500 years after what I believe would be 4,000 BCE. But at least I put it in there so you can see that Ben's trying to cite that that's when the flood occurred, back 4,000 to 6,000 years before Yeshua was born, okay? And so the interesting thing is that it's hockey sticking right now. And so our magnetic strength, our magnetosphere has been growing and growing in strength, and now it's been fading since 1880. It's been really fading fast. So what's going on? Well, it's gonna really hockey stick soon here. And Ben's been citing it. The problem is the ESA won't talk about it anymore over in Europe, and then our NASA won't talk about it anymore. So we have to get a source like this one to show it's hockey sticking, people. Or you are here and you see where it's going, and that's bottoming out, which means the weather is going to be horrific going forward. So I want to cite Luke 21 so that you can see it's in the Bible, actually. Okay, so this is just something that's talking about the atmosphere losing its shield and the pole shift that could be causing some of that. And once again, this is cosmic. This is not just global warming on the Earth that's causing this. So we study the effects of pole reversal that it would have on the Earth's electric fields and how that will affect the cold atmosphere source plasma in the near Earth space environment known as the plasmasphere. We found the stability of the plasmasphere is highly dependent on the shape of the magnetic field, and that magnetic field shapes lacking symmetry around the Earth's rotational axis lead to stronger erosion of Earth's plasmasphere and leaves Earth's atmosphere more vulnerable to changes in magnetic field strength. That's bad, people. Okay, so Ben's been citing that the poles are shifting, and they're shifting towards the Dragon's Triangle near China and the Bermuda Triangle near Bermuda. just bizarre, people, that's where they're going to. But you've got the South Magnetic Pole that's moving towards basically, I can't remember which one is which. I think the North Pole is heading towards the Dragon's Triangle, which is very interesting, people. I didn't even know it existed until a year ago. So as things thin in the upper atmosphere, the magnetosphere weakens, faster upper level winds. You'll notice more solar winds getting through. You'll see plasma penetrations. You'll see increased pressure differentials, electrodynamic cloud microphysics. You're going to notice problems like lightning, tornadoes, and hail, and they're just going to pop up. Okay, and also health issues. Who's at risk? Well, people with heart issues already, they're going to notice it as the magnetosphere thins. Obviously, you're going to have these health issues and possibly brainwave issues too, because our brain's electric too. So just keep that in mind. When would this reversal occur? We don't know, but it will cause all sorts of problems. So Ben's not the only one citing this. This is Tamitha Skov. She's a PhD, and she knows her stuff, and she's been predicting on the sun, the solar flares and X flares and things like that. So she's constantly updating. So if you want to check out Ben Davidson at Suspicious Observers, or Tamitha Skov, she has her own YouTube channel. She talks about the solar flares and the solar storms and the solar wind and coronal holes and all those things, okay? So keep that in mind, that that's what causes aurora borealis. So when you hear about those things, keep in mind that that's probably an X flare or greater. It could be up to X10. And if you have family that have heart attacks or are prone to that, you might want to put some lead around them. I'm not kidding. So basically, I try to give you real prophecy because we're going to find this in the Bible. Try not to twist the Bible. And then what's the news? Well, sometimes they don't publish it. So for years now, I have stated that Matthew 24 sounds a lot like the book of Revelation, and especially the seals. So this is one source that I found that basically says, yeah, they parallel. It really does. So, okay, that's fine. That was nice of him to do that and report on it. So, yeah, so I'm not the only one. So what I want you to be able to see is, in my mind's eye, ethnos, epi-ethnos, which would be, say, Russia versus Ukraine, because they're both Eastern Orthodox. That would be like the first seal. The second seal would be kingdom versus kingdom, basileia, epi-basileia. And then there will be famines, limo, and that would be the third seal. And we're starting to see that. So I'm the person out there saying we're in the third seal, definitely. And we're starting to see signs of the fourth seal, which is that would be plagues, and that would be loimo. And then quakes would be seismo, and that would be the sixth seal. But what I want you to see is then that Luke 21 goes a little bit further than what you just saw. And just so you know my perspective, I believe that the seals start out, and then you go into the trumpets during the Great Tribulation, and it's just all one linear theory, okay? I don't believe in imminence. I believe that we'll know. Your wife knew when she was pregnant, or if you're a female, you know when you're pregnant. You're not dumb, and so that's the problem with imminence. It assumes that you're stupid, and you're going to sit there and assume that you're not pregnant and that we're not birthing these birth pangs. So there you go. So birth pangs occur during the seals, and then tribulation occurs the first 3.5 years, then great tribulation during the last 3.5 years, megathlipsis. And so we are not in the tribulation yet. We're bouncing through the birth pangs. So let's go into Luke 21 and let's find the standard stuff, and then let's look for the new information and try to reconcile what preterism is, and I'll show you that section. He answered, "Watch out, don't be fooled, for many will come in my name saying, I am he. The time has come. Don't go after them." We're seeing that already. We're seeing people not saying I am he, but the time has come, or that they believe the Great Tribulation has already started. Don't go after them, okay? When you hear of wars and revolutions like Russia, Ukraine, don't panic, because we've already had World War I and World War II. This is just another war right now. The end will not follow immediately, because these things must happen first. So he's setting us up for this. Then he told them peoples will fight against each other. So that was that ethnos, epi-ethnos. Nations will fight each other. That is basileia, epi-basileia. And then the great earthquakes. So that's megaseismos. And then there will be, epidemics and famines in various places. So we've seen the epidemics and famines. That's limo and loimo. Okay. And then fearful sights. Now that's new. That's new information. Phobia. And we'll talk about the Greek in the next slide. And great science, there's semeion. We'll talk about that too. From heaven. I want you to be aware that's the first time in Luke 21 that you see heaven. But before all this, they will arrest you and persecute you, handing you over to synagogues and prisons, and you will be brought before kings and governors, and on the account of Yeshua, but it will prove an opportunity for you to bear witness. So that is Luke 21, 8 through 13. Once again, we've seen ethnos, epi, ethnos. We've seen basileia, seismos, megaloi. Yep. We've seen limo and loimo. Have we seen phobatra? No, we never have. Fearful sights. And we don't even know what it means. I mean, it's not real specific. It just says, fearful sights. There you go. Phobia type stuff. Oranu, that's heaven. Yep. But semia. So that is some kind of a sign in the heavens. And they're megala. So they're great signs in heaven. Now, I wanted to show you Isaiah 19, which is an end times chapter too. And you'll see that the Haggah word matches up with that down there. So, and it will be the land of Judah to Egypt a terror. Everyone who, so basically Haggah with so it's a chet and a gimel and an aleph, and that is the same word as phobatra. Very interesting. Only 2 times in the Bible. And if you want to read Isaiah 19, please do. It's an end times chapter. It really is. Okay, so phobatron, again, only 1 time in the Bible where we saw Luke 21:11, and then Isaiah 19:17, also Haggah down there. It's a terrible sight, cause of terror, an object of fear, strikes terror, a terror, cause of fright. It's been cited very frequently by Hippocrates. Why am I having problems? Lucian, the Hippocratic Oath. Hippocrates. I'm sorry. I just had problems with a name there for a second. And Plato cited it too. So keep in mind, it's been cited many, many times, even though it's not biblically cited very often, only twice. It's there. Okay, so now back to Luke 21. So make up your minds not to worry, rehearsing your defense beforehand. For I myself will give you an eloquence and a wisdom that no adversary will be able to resist or refute. You will be betrayed, even by parents, brothers, and relatives and friends. Some of you they will have put to death. So people will die, and everyone will hate you because of me, but not a hair on your head will be lost. By standing firm, you will save your lives. Luke 21, 14 through 19. Continuing on. However, now, this is where preterism hits, okay? And so preterists believe this already occurred. You don't need to look for the end of days because it occurred in 70 AD, 62 through 70, and it's all done, okay? It's all done. No, it's not. This section here did occur back then. But we'll just see how it then flips out in verse 24. So let's go through these verses and show you, yes, this occurred, 2,000 years ago, but now some of it at the tail end here will occur now. However, when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then you are to understand that she is about to be destroyed. Yeah, that's 70 AD. Those in Yehuda must escape to the hills, those inside the city must get out, and those in the country must not enter it, for these are the days of vengeance. That's God's vengeance. When everything that has been written in the Tanakh, that's basically the Old Testament, will come true. What a terrible time it will be for pregnant women. There you go, birth pangs and nursing mothers. For there will be great distress in the land and judgment on the people. Some will fall by the edge of the sword, others will be carried into all the countries of the Goyim, the Gentiles, and Jerusalem will be trampled down by the Gentiles until the age of the Gentiles has run its course. Now that is actually a Melo HaGoyim statement, which is the fullness of the Gentiles. And I'll show you how it actually plays through. So you'll see that in Romans 11, I think it's 19, and you'll see it in Genesis 48. Oh goodness, maybe that's 48:19. Either way, Melo HaGoyim is a standard phrase of the fullness of the Gentiles. And so you have the blessing, the cross-handed blessing in Genesis 48, and then you have Paul describing it, and he had some significance. And so basically he's saying everything's tied into the age of the Gentiles. Okay, the time of the Gentiles, fullness, so to speak, of the Gentiles. There will appear signs. Once again, that's the semeion in the sun, the moon, and the stars. So that's the second time that you see a cosmological signature, like a sign up there. And Semyon is great signs. It doesn't say megas, but it is signs, okay? On the earth, nations. That's the goyim again. Now, it's ethnos. That is the non-Jews. So that's the goyim. Will be in anxiety. That's aporia in the Greek, and it's G640, and that's another fear word, and you don't see that in Matthew 24. Well, maybe you do. Okay, well, anyway, but you don't see the other phobia word coming up. So bewilderment, so we've got anxiety, bewilderment at the sound and surge of the sea, and people will faint with phobu, okay, phobia, faint with phobias at the prospect of what is overtaking the world, for the powers in heaven will be shaken. That's your third time. So keep that in mind. Something is going to happen in the heavens that will make us very frightened, because he cites it 3 times in a short section. And then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with tremendous power and glory. That's Luke 21, 25 through 27. Very interesting. So, once again, Phobos, Hebrew Yare in this case, fear, dread, terror, and that's what's going on. So you can see all the verses. I listed some of them. Acts 19:17, Revelation 11:11, Luke 1:12, Acts. Just tons of times that's listed. So phobia, fear. Okay, very typical in the Bible. So the other one wasn't listed very often, but this one's everywhere, and that's Yare. That is fear, dread, terror, no doubt about it. So now I wanted to show you Isaiah 24, just so you could see that it's similar but different. This word is pakad in the Hebrew, and it's phobos in the Greek. And so terror, pit, and trap are upon you, and you who live on the earth. He who flees at the sound of terror, again, pakad, phobos, will fall into the pit. He who climbs out of the pit will be caught in the trap. For the windows above have been opened. That sounds like the magnetosphere thinning, and the earth's foundations shake. The earth cracks and breaks open. The earth crumbles to pieces. The earth trembles and totters. The earth staggers to and fro like a drunk, sways back and forth like a watchman's shelter. Okay, so that's Isaiah 24, 17 through 20. Sounds similar, doesn't it? Like phobia, fears. Okay, and then what I wanted to tie again, and I just found that today, this 2 Peter 3, 8 through 10. And a couple more verses after that from 2 Peter. I want you to be able to see this in terms of Peter's description of this, because this ties it all together. Moreover, dear friends, do not ignore this. With the Lord, 1 day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years like 1 day. Okay, that also is found in Psalm 90. The Lord is not slow in keeping his promise, as some think of slowness. On the contrary, he is patient with you, for it is not his purpose that anyone should be destroyed, but that everyone should turn from his sins. However, the day of the Lord will come like a thief. On that day, by Yom Hahu, I would say in the Hebrew, the heavens will disappear with a roar, the elements will melt and disintegrate, and the earth and everything in it will be burned up. That sounds like it, doesn't it? That ties it all together. So Peter is really the other proof source that I was really looking for that proves this through. Continuing on with 2 Peter 3. Since everything is going to be destroyed like this, what kind of people should you be? You should lead holy and godly lives as you wait for the day of God, Yom Hahu we call it in Hebrew, and work to hasten its coming. Yeah, he wants you to hasten its coming. So do something good. Talk about Yeshua. That day will bring the destruction of the heavens by fire, and the elements will melt from the heat. So he said it 2 times, but we, following along with his promise, wait for the new heavens and the new earth. Yep, that's what's being brought down, in which righteousness will be at home. So Zadaka, and that is very standard in the Old Testament too. So I want you to see the Stern commentary so that you understand that it's not just my opinion. The day of the Lord, I'm saying possibly is Yom Kippur, because it's the only holiday, Chag, that is based on a Yom, a day, is spoken of frequently in the Tanakh. Once again, that's the Old Testament. Examples include Isaiah 13:9 and 61:2. Jeremiah 46:10, Joel 1:15, Zephaniah 1, Malachi 3. Oh, those are good ones. And it's called the day of Adonai, the day of judgment and vengeance, but also the day of salvation and comfort. The role of Yeshua the Messiah on that day is taught in the New Testament. John 5:22, Acts 17, Romans 2, so that the day of the Lord can as well refer to Yeshua as to the Father, since kudos can mean either Lord or Adonai. Okay. Then this is the meaty part from Stern. The cataclysmic picture of that day, which Kifa, Peter, gives here, and then verses 7 and 12 are found in the Tanakh, again, the Old Testament. The heavens will disappear. Once again, all these verses are cited, and you can stop the video if you want to and research all of them. With a roar, and the elements will melt and disintegrate in the earth, and everything in it will be burned up. Look at all those verses. Stop and pause and read them for yourself, but that's a lot of citations. Compare also similar pictures in Jewish writings. I didn't want to cite any of these. I would have cited all of those, but that's a whole lot of verses to cite. So basically, sibling oracles, which I really have problems with. First Enoch 1, I like Enoch. Fourth Ezra, yeah, I like it at times. So the main thing is we're coming up to a site. Keep in mind that an eclipse of the sun is usually some meaning for the Gentiles. An eclipse of the moon, a total eclipse, and we have two of them. One Yare 15, which is coming up May 15th, very soon now, 5 days. And then also we'll have a second one occurring on November 8th of 2022. So two of them this year. And that would be Cheshvan 15 and Yare 15. So two lunar eclipses this year. Very interesting. Just watch for heavenly signs. I'm not going to say anything more than that. Just be aware of it. Just notice and see if anything related to the Jews occurs May 15th, 16th, or afterwards, or November 8th, 2022, or afterwards. Just keep it in mind. We're trying. So be holy, as Peter mentioned. Whether it's Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur or whenever the wedding is, you need to wear clean garments. It's going to be a wedding, so please get your garments clean. And that's the end. So hopefully this made sense, and you got to see something new and different from Luke 21, and you got to see that it's not just preterism. It didn't occur all in 70 AD. There you go. Be blessed. Bye-bye.